Hi, good morning, students. How are you? Feeling good? Okay, welcome back to the fifth lesson of the history again. That is, what books and burials tell us. What books and burials. We are moving back almost 3,500 years ago. At that time, there was certain books composed in India. You know that at that time and up to this medieval age, India was mainly dominated by Hindu rulers, and the people were also, most of them were only Hindus. So when we are moving back to 3005 years ago, we could get the composing of four Vedas. So this chapter is about the early Vedic period. Early Vedic period. How many Vedas are there? That we were talking in the last class, right? Yes. How many Vedas? Tell me. Yes. 4 Vedas are there. In Hinduism, how many Vedas? 4 Vedas. Which are the 4 Vedas? Tell me. Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. This period is about the first Veda, that is Rig Vedic period. Which is the first Veda of Hinduism? Rig Veda. First and foremost Veda of Hinduism is Rig Veda. Now, I think it is that portion is over, right? Let's revise it again. Okay. Yes, let's revise once more. This Rig Veda. Rig Veda is the first Veda. What is the first importance of Rig Veda? First Veda. This Veda is composed around 3,500 years ago. How many years ago? How many years back? 3,500. That you told in the last class. Yes, 35 centuries ago. Yes, that is the first speciality. And this Veda was written in which language? Olden Vedic Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit language Veda was composed. How many years ago? 3,500 years ago or 35 centuries ago, and in Sanskrit it was written. Then another importance, what is the subject matter of content of Veda? Yes, content of Veda is 1,000, what's the special word? Hymns. H-Y-M-N-S. 1,000 hymns are there. What is the word meaning of hymns? That you know. Tell me. Please recollect. Hymns means well said or sukta. Yes, sukta or well said. And in Hinduism, mainly there are 3 gods are there. Which are the 3 gods? Yes, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. These 3 gods represent, first one, it is the god of creation, Brahma. Vishnu is the god represents life, and Shiva represents what? Death. In Rig Veda, 3 gods' names are found to be mentioned. How many gods are mentioned in Rig Veda? 3 gods. Which are they? Agni, Indra and Sama. What type of god is called Agni? Yes, naturally Agni is the god of fire. God of fire. And Indra is the warrior god. Indra is the warrior god, or god represents battle. And Sama is a peculiar sacred drink that is derived from a peculiar plant, that is Sama. These are the 3 gods that are mentioned in the first Veda, that is Rig Veda. Please, which are they? Agni, fire, Indra, war, and Sama is a peculiar sacred, a holy drink of Hinduism. Okay, then let's go to this language that we already told now, right? Yes, which language is used in Vedas? Yes, Sanskrit. Today let us go to this certain language families that is connected with Indian culture at that time. Language families. Please listen very carefully. There are almost 3 language families are there, among which 2 Indo-European family. Tell me, Indo-European family. Next one, it is Dravidian family. And last one, Tibeto or Indo-Tibetan language family. First one, Indo-European family. Next, Dravidian family. Another one is Indo-Tibetan language. Let's go through that area today. Ready? Yes. First one, Indo-European family. How many terms are in this language family? Indo and European. That means Indian languages and European languages. Can you tell me which are the Indian languages? Yes, almost 24 languages are seen in our country itself, that is India. Yes. Indian languages which are there? Assamese, Gujarati, Bengali, etc. etc. And the European languages are French, English, Spanish, Italian, German, etc. French, Italian, English, German, etc. These are the European languages. These two languages compose what? Indo-European language. From Indian language there is Assamese, Gujarati, Bengali, etc. Okay, Hindi, etc. These are the Indo-European family. What family? Language family. Indo-European language family. Some are Indian languages and some are European languages. This language family is called Indo-European language family. Got it? Next one, it is Dravidian family. Dravidian family, to know more about Dravidian family, you may come to South India. Which are the South Indian languages? Tell me, we people are in South India, right? Which is our state? Kerala. What is the language that we are speaking? Is Malayalam. So Malayalam is coming in the second language family, Dravidian family, right? Dravidian family, which are the languages coming? Can you tell me which are the South Indian languages? Yes, you know Malayalam is derived from another language, another South Indian language. Which is that? Tell me. Tamil. Yes, right answer. Yes, Tamil is a Dravidian language. Malayalam is another Dravidian language. Then Kannada, you know, in Karnataka. Yes, Kannada is another language. Then in Andhra Pradesh, what is the language? Telugu. Yes, so these are the Dravidian family languages. Okay, tell me which are them. First one, we can tell our own language, the language that we are speaking, our own heart language, the language in which we are thinking, and the language of our dream. What is that? Our mother tongue, Malayalam. So Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada. These are coming in the second language family. Tell me the name. Dravidian family. At that time, you know, Dravidas were only the inhabitants of India, especially South India. You know, Dravidians are only Hindus. It is after this period Muslim religion is coming, Muslim and even Christianity was propagated in India. Most of the people, almost all the people were Hindus. And after the emergence or coming of this propagation of Islam from Saudi Arabia and Christianity from the Western European countries, that the Christians and the Muslims were started living in India. Okay, they were converting, actually changing the religion from Hinduism to Islam and Christianity. So let's come back again this point. Dravidian group of family, Dravidian language family, which are the Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. Okay, so another one is Indo-Tibetan language. Some of the North Indian languages and languages near Tibet, outside the boundary of India, in the northeastern part, that is called what? Indo-Tibetan language. Got it? So tell me once again, how many language families are there? Yes, at that time there was 3 language families. First one, Indo-European family. Next one, Dravidian family. Another one is Indo-Tibetan family. Indian languages, Assamese, Gujaratis are Indo-Tibetan languages, plus certain European languages called what? Yes, English, German, Japanese, Spanish, etc. These are in Indo-European family, Dravidian family, most of these South Indian languages and Indo-Tibetan languages means certain North Indian language as well as the northeastern part of boundaries or neighboring area languages are there. So that is language family. Now we can check off this Rigvedic, that is early Vedic period. Early Vedic period, that how was the people defined? How many sections of the people are found to be living in early Vedic period or Rigvedic period? Which is the early Vedic period? Rigvedic period. Yes, there were 4 sections of the people at that time. You know, all the people were Hindus. Yes, which are the 4 sections of the people? First one, it is Jen or Vish, means common people. Jen or Vish means common people. Another section of the people is Rajas. Tell me, second section is Rajas. Another one is Aryans. Aryans were the 3rd section of the people. And last one, it is Dasas or Dasis. So we can conclude. Jen or Vish or common people, Rajas, then Aryans and Dasas and Dasis. Let's go through this area. Jen or Vish is the common people, craftsmen and architectures, that carpenter, like that small sections of the people are called Jen or Vish. Rajas were the higher class, means a royal family. But you know, in Vedic period there were no palaces. Only rituals were done by these Rajas. Rituals were done by the Rajas in the presence of certain priests. So Rajas. Another one is Aryans. Aryans were entrusted with the duty of teaching and learning Vedas. Yes. Another one is Dasa or Dasi, that is slave. So mainly there are 2 sections of the people, upper class and the lower class people. Tell me, upper class and lower class. When we are specifying, we will get 4 sections of the people. Once again, tell me, Jen or Vish, Rajas, Aryans and Dasas or Dasis. Now, you know what is Dasas and Dasis? They are slaves. Now let's check what are the differences of life among Rajas and common people. Just we can imagine, but you don't imagine that the Raja were living in palaces and capturing a lot of land. No. At that time it was not there. So, this Raja's life and common people life, what are the differences? First one, Rajas are coming in high class society, whereas common people belongs to the low class people. One is high class, one is low class. Who is high class? Rajas. Who is in the low class? That is common people or Vish. Then another one, Rajas can participate in wars and rituals. What is war? Conducting battle. These Rajas people were only the participants of wars as well as ritual. Ritual means certain religious ceremonies, certain religious practices. These Rajas were given participation in both these cases. Which are the both cases? Which are the 2 cases? Wars and rituals. But what about these common people? They were not given any participation either in wars or in rituals, religious practices. And third one is this simple point, that is free. Who was free? Rajas were free, but there was no freedom for these Dasas or common people. They were slaves. Who were the masters? Masters were Rajas, and the other section was found to be not at all having any freedom. They were slave under these rules and regulations of the masters are called slaves. They are called Dasas or common people or Jen or Vish. Okay, these are the differences. Listen very carefully. Raja's life were entirely different from the life of the common people. What are the points? Rajas are coming in high class. Rajas were participating in wars and rituals, and Rajas were free. But in the case of common people, they were low class people, not at all given any participation in wars or rituals, and they were not experienced or they were not having any freedom. They were working and living upon the orders of these Rajas. They were hard-working people also. That's also a point there, right? Yes, they are who are hardworking. Yes, common people were hardworking, but Rajas were not at all hardworking. Yes. Next, we can go to the occupation and cultivation under Rigvedic period. That one. Occupation and cultivation. People were found to be two types of occupation. First one, it is cultivation or farming or agriculture. Cultivation or farming and agriculture. Another one, it's also a part of cultivation or agriculture, that is cattle rearing. What were the produces that were made by Rigvedic people? Let's check now. Ready? Okay, cultivation. They were producing or they were engaged in cultivating fruits, vegetables and certain grains also. Which are the grains? Let's check now. The grains that Rigvedic people were producing were peas, sesame, rice. Rice we can say first, I believe. Okay, rice, sesame and peas or pulses. Pulses, sesame and rice. These were the mainly, then millets also they were producing. Yes, these were the main cultivation items that were produced or cultivated by the people of the Rigvedic period. And apart from this cultivation means digging the land and sowing the seeds and watering or fertilization, then harvesting, like that. These are the steps of cultivation, you know that. Yes, apart from this cultivation, they were engaged in cattle rearing, means animal domestication. Domestication means cattle were rearing or growing for the purpose of getting what? Getting milk, meat, skin, etc. You know, animals. Which are the possible animals that they may be rearing? Tell me, you can. Hello. Yes, they were sheep, goat, etc. Sheep, goat and even pigs were grown by these people. Pig, you know, pig. Yes, we can't imagine, I believe. Okay. Anyway, these are the main three animals that were grown by these Vedic people, Rigvedic people. Pig, you can say first. Pig, then sheep, then goat. So got it? What are the occupation of the people in Rigvedic period? Cultivation of fruits, and again they were growing fruits also. Fruits including berries, then date, etc. Date, you know, dates. Yes, dates, berries, then amla. Listen. The early Vedic period or Rigvedic people were engaged in cultivation and cattle rearing. Cultivation and cattle rearing. Cultivation include grains like millets, pulses, then sesame and rice. Fruits including amla, then dates, berry, etc. Different types of berries they were producing. And cattle rearing include many animals were there. We can study only three. That is, first one it is sheep, then goat, then pig. These were the occupation or job. What's the meaning of occupation? You may know. Yes, job. What were the people engaged for getting income or money? Yes, cultivation and cattle rearing. Okay, let's conclude the chapter now. There are three language families: Indo-European language family, Dravidian language family, and Indo-Tibetan language family. Then the lives of the Rajas and the common people. Rajas were high-class people engaged or participated in war and rituals, and they were free. But in the case of common people, they were low-class people, not getting any participation in wars or battle, and they were not experiencing freedom. And next comes this occupation of the people. Yes, that is cultivation and cattle rearing. Cultivation, there is fruits and grains, and cattle rearing, three animals we can study: pig, then goat and sheep. Okay, now this is the end of today's class. Thank you so much. Great.